Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm going to try to make this video short and sweet. I'm not the best storyteller and I lose my train of thought quite easily, but I'm going to do my best to get my point across. Anyways, I know there are a few of you who are watching me and find me quite entertaining. I thank you. I really do appreciate you. For this video, I thought I would do something a little different. Um, Hopefully you can take away something from this video and get you guys thinking. For those of you who like to play video games, you're gonna know exactly what I'm gonna be talking about. I play a lot of it myself, and when I was a kid, a good amount of time I spent was playing video games. And in high school, I also got into playing World of Warcraft, and arguably it was the best video game I've ever played. Anyways, we spent hours and hours sitting in front of the computer playing these video games because it's all about fun and it was all about having a good time. Sometimes I wish that life was like a video game. Have you guys ever thought of that? Because I have, and I would constantly think of it. Anyways, for some of us, playing video game was a way to escape from reality. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't understand why we had to go to school. Why couldn't we just stay outside and have fun and go on an adventure just like in a video game? And also, as an adult, I'm stuck working the 9 to 5s, the 5 days a week, and I barely have any time for myself. I barely have any time to have fun and get to do whatever I want. And so it's pretty much the same thing. These video games are meant for enjoyment and for fun, and it is meant to tap into like a void within us that only a fantasy can fill. It always blows my mind how we can come up with these fantasy concepts. How are we able to come up with fantasy worlds and fantasy creatures, mythical creatures? I'm sure it didn't just pop out of nowhere. It wasn't like just one day we thought of, oh, I want to draw a dragon, or I just thought of this mythical creature. The point that I'm trying to make is we were meant to live a life of a fantasy. That's why we are able to come up with these concepts, because of that. And I think that God designed our life to be that way and designed our brain to think that way. Before I go on further, if you're not very religious, then this video is probably not for you. There's going to be some Bible reference, and I'm going to take Bible as a fact and as an historic account. Anyways, the basic creation story in the Bible is that God created the universe and everything that is in it, and He created Adam and Eve, the first humans in the world. Anyways, their life was meant to be like everything you thought of in a fantasy. Let me put it this way: there were no rules, there were not given any laws, except for just one rule, was to not eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. How easy can that be? Other than that, they had no concept of right and wrong. There was no sin, there was no evil, everything was pure, everything was innocent. There was no suffering, there was no death at the time. And it was filled with all the mythical creatures, all the creatures that you can only conceive in your head dragons, griffins, and even I would go on as far as saying as humanoids such as centaurs and elves and maybe taurens. They all existed and lived in harmony with everyone. It was just like a one big La La Land. It was like just what you would see in a video game, and so that's what life was meant to be, and that's how it should have been had Adam and Eve not sinned. But we know in the story that they sinned, and as a result, God cursed the land, God cursed the creation, and that's why we are here now. We are living the consequences. That's why we are stuck working all our lives because of the curse, and the reason why there are so many divorces because God also cursed the relationship between a man and a woman. And you see it a lot in marriages, and that both man and woman fight for dominance, and it just never works sometimes, and a lot of bad things happen from broken marriages and broken family. This is also the reason why sometimes we think that there's more to life, and we long for such a place, such a life that is filled with joy and filled with fun, a fantasy life, and that is where the concept of heaven comes from. We're longing for a life opposite to what we have now, opposite from pain, from suffering, and from all the negativity that is happening around us. That is why we have this hope and this longing, because initially I think and I believe that life was meant to be enjoyed to the fullest. Life was all about fun and just enjoying what God had to offer in His creation. And anyways, I don't want to sound too preachy. The whole point of this video was to just get you guys thinking, and it's all possible. Comment down below what you guys think. Have you guys ever wished that life was like a video game? Have you guys ever wished that life was like a fantasy that you see in movies or in video games? Anyways, that's all I have for you today.